Hello everyone, welcome back to Old Dad's Modeling Mess. And in today's video, I start one of my bucket list builds, the German Elefant Tank Destroyer. This, along with my Takom King Tiger over there on the left, these are the top two that have been on my bucket list of builds for a very long time. And when I finally got the chance to get them, I did it. So, with this build here, the plan was, well, really, there wasn't a plan. I didn't know if I was going to make a video series on this or not, because I planned on taking my time with this build, and I wanted to do it all up nice and stuff, and make it just absolutely badass. And I think it turned out really damn good, well, except for the commander, because when it comes to miniatures, I really suck at that. But that's another story. This here, I didn't know what I was going to do with it, So, if you can't tell, I mean, when I started taking the video and stuff like this here, I didn't even adjust the camera. That's why everything's so up close and kind of almost at a frame there. So I mean, again, there really wasn't a plan. It was just, I was going to build it and go from there. But with the way it turned out and everything, I think it worked out pretty good. I mean, hell, you can even see that my workbench is back in the old spot, and that was, gosh, I don't know, the way that I redid things in my garage, I think I did that like a month or so ago. So this is probably a good 3 months ago, maybe ish, something like that. So yeah, it's getting there. But the cool thing I did get to do with this, though, is I did get to try the that stick-on Zimmerit. I bought the Tamiya kit for it, and that was actually kind of neat. It sure looked a lot easier than using the Tamiya putty or all the other stuff and doing it, with the little tool, the roller, or the little slide, the metal slide thingy, photo etch part for it. But I did make a couple of mistakes, but it worked out. On the little Zimmerit thing, there's like 2 lines that you can cut on for it, and some of them I cut on the lower line, some of them I cut on the higher line. But the real big thing that I did wrong was I thought it would be easier for me to just cut out little squares instead of the holes that go around the rivets and stuff like that. As I was painting it and doing the weathering and stuff, you could notice it a little bit. So yeah, that's really the biggest mistake I made on it. There was one part right there on those 2 little corner plates of armor, the front part, where that big front plate that I'm working on now that you can't see because, again, like I said, I really wasn't planning on all this. But when you put that on there, that where it wraps around, that did come undone a little bit, and so occasionally I'd have to I'd stick it back on there, and then finally, once I got to the painting stage and it had popped back loose, I stuck a wire down in there with some super glue and squished it over, and it finally stuck. But other than that, that Zimmerit stuff was actually really neat, and I'll give it a try with the roller and stuff like that, using the Tamiya putty. But I gotta be honest, that stuff was so easy to use. I'll probably just stick with that, to be honest with you. But I do want to give the hand roll a try, just to say that I did it once. But yeah, so as you can see here, I may have kind of overthought this when I was doing this. I thought this build was going to be like extremely difficult, just from watching some of the other builds and stuff like that. When I'm watching, people like Night Shift and stuff like that, I'm looking for the issues that they run into and stuff like that, along with their techniques. So I don't really pay attention to how easy the build actually was for them to do and stuff like that. Plus, in all honesty, you can't really go by, Night Shift, because dude's like a god when it comes to doing these builds. I swear he could probably just put a whole damn model together in his sleep and not even realize it. But the hull has went together so quick. I'm kind of used to the having to glue the sides on and then the front plates on, along with the inner bulkheads and stuff like that to hold everything together. But with this already having the sides on it, it started going together really fast. And that's why I was thinking, wow, I must have overthought this, because it actually went quite quickly when I worked on it. Because actually, even in the video here, there was coming up here shortly, I ran into a little bit of an issue, and then I got busy doing a build for the channel and some other stuff like that. And then a couple weeks later, I'd come back and work on it some more. But getting this together, the hull went together fast and easy. It's damn near ready for the running gear, but I'll do that later. I want to get my hands on that crew compartment, and that's where I start to run into a little bit of an issue here. As you can see, I'm working on the base of the gun. That's normal, right? Nothing wrong with that. But when it happens, I do make a mistake, and for the next several minutes, you guys are just gonna have to suffer with me here as I make a complete and utter ass of myself because I'm not paying attention. And that brings me to one of the things I've been trying, especially with this one here. I was trying to test fit all the pieces together first. Just before I glue them, make sure everything fits. That way, if there's any fitment issues, I can figure it out before I glue it. And I hope you guys have caught it, because I've already got my first issue going. And yeah, what can it be? I'm sure some of you have noticed it already, but I'm actually trying to mount the base of the gun on the back of the crew compartment here. And I haven't realized this yet. And there's a little gap on the sides there, and I can't quite get it to fit right. And so I'm like, okay. So as you see, I'm bringing out the clamps, and I'm going to see if I clamp it in there, if that takes care of the gap. And you know, I'm working on it, but normally I set things a certain way, and I try to set like the front of the turret or whatever towards me. I mean, but it's with a turret, it's pretty obvious where the front and the rear is. But on this one here, on the crew compartment, it's not so obvious. Well, I mean, it is, but for me it wasn't because I put it backwards. So as I'm struggling along here, I'm like, okay, this is starting to work. And I'm like, damn, that ball sticks out pretty far. I'm like, okay, cool. Okay, well, if I do the clamps, that'll get rid of that little gap there. And, so I'm like checking it out. I'm like, okay. Let's get the hull. And this part here coming up, you're going to love it. Flame me down in the comments. It's absolutely fine. I'm good with it. I deserve it because, yes, I'm trying to put the crew compartment on there backwards because I haven't realized it yet. So, okay, there's where the gun goes. Here's the crew compartment, and it is dead ass backwards. And I'm like, oh, okay, there we go. Now it's starting to look right. No, it's not. Yeah, I'm just, yeah. It's like the Three Stooges meets, Beavis and Butthead all at once, and yeah, that's what's going on. Yes, your eyes are not deceiving you. I'm trying to glue it in. The wrong end. Oh yeah, again, and yeah, just laugh at me, laugh with me, however you want to do it. It's all good. I don't care. I still haven't realized this yet, and it's going to be a little bit longer here before I really realize it, and then I still don't realize it until it's an accident. Yes, that is actually the front of it that you're looking at now. So I'm adding more glue. Oh yes, this is so awesome. So, mantlet. Okay, that's not fitting right, is it? And I'm trying to get this to fit. Now, on the mantlet piece there's two little pins that stick out, and on the hole there that the base of the gun is sticking out, it's on that like angle. There's two little receiving slots, 4 pins, and since I can't get it, thankfully before the glue dried, I pulled the gun out, and so now I'm trying to figure out why I can't get this mantlet to fit. And so I'm fiddling with this, and I'm like, okay, fine. Here, I'm going to mark where the pins are so I can get everything lined up. And then on the crew compartment, I mark where the pin holes are on there. All right, there we go. Now I just got to line everything up, right? Hold on, it's still not fitting. And right there, I just showed myself where it goes and didn't realize it. And so I'm still fiddling with this thing. I am just like, what the hell is going on? And so now I'm just like, I'm super confused. Oh. So yes, those last like 6 minutes there, I was completely just I went whole hog, just like whole hog dumbass, and I tried to glue the gun in backwards. So yeah, there's that. So I didn't want to edit that out because hey, I made the mistake, and I deserve whatever I get in the comments. So have fun with it. I absolutely am not gonna get mad. So, but now that I've got that figured out, yeah, it's let's get this going. Let's get this on there. Wow, that fit in there really good, didn't it? I mean, it just dropped right on. Who would have thought if you put the parts in the right spot, they would fit? Yeah, it's okay, guys. It's okay. Now that I have lived through that disaster, I'm just wanting to get it together, and finally, this is where the common sense thing comes in together. I'm like, okay, I've got this. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and put the rear hatch on, and I'm just gonna try to finish this up, because after that it was time to take a break for a little bit on it, before I screw anything else up. And so, yeah, I'm right there. I was sitting there. I actually said to myself, I was like, I don't believe I was that stupid that I did that. Yeah, it was good. I was a little upset because it took me. I bet at least a good 5 or 6 minutes, if not longer, to figure out that I was putting that in backwards. But now getting these in was pretty easy. Even though the only one that I used was the one for the Commander. And so now I'm wanting to make sure that I get that in right, because I know it's got the little receiving pins or slots for the pins on that. See, one of the things I didn't know, and I still need to look it up, is does that actually open the big part, or is it just a little part that opens up? If you guys know, let me know down in the comments below, because I still haven't looked that up. But yeah, because that would be a really small hole. So I'm assuming that that's just like to get rid of the spent casings and stuff, I would imagine, maybe. I'm not quite sure on that. But yeah, I'm getting there, and that's my focus now. Get this on, get this closed up, and then stop and do something else before I actually screw something up really bad that I can't fix. So yeah, and that was kind of weird having to put that inside there just to put the outer part on to cover that up. That's, like I said, I'm not sure why all that's like that. So if any of you know, let me know, because that, in all honesty, I probably should look that up after I edit this video. So yeah, there is that. I finally got things correctly, or in their correct spots, we'll put it that way. And yeah, once I dried this, or got this set in, it was time to call it a day and be done. And yeah, that is that. So now I think it was a couple of weeks later, and as you can see, I had already started on the Zimmerit there, and I made some homemade brass fenders. This is just out of some of those, I think they're 6x9 sheets of thin brass. I made me some fenders for it, and yeah, I'm tinkering with it, and I think they look good, because originally I was going to bend them up really, really bad, and this part here was kind of where I tried to use my brain some. the front part of the fender, I cut the fender off, but I kept the bracket so I could just super glue uh, the photo etch part there, or the metal part, to that. But then I can use the Tamiya extra thin to glue the fender brace to the actual model itself. And so, yeah, it was one of those things. I mean, you know, I've got so many pieces of that brass that I can make stuff out of. I really didn't see the need on spending, you know, $20 or $30 getting all the photo etch for this, especially considering I really only wanted the fenders. The hooks and stuff that came with it were fine, at least in my opinion. So I just wanted to do the fenders up that way. And I when you guys, at the end of this series, when you guys see the finished model, I think you guys will agree that it looks pretty damn good. Excuse me, sorry. It was quite the interesting build. We'll just put it that way. But it really wasn't hard, and that was the thing that really got me. Was I wasn't, you know, I wasn't expecting it to be this easy, you know, or go this well. In the time that I was working on the fenders and stuff like that, I was also working on weld beads. I had decided from the get-go, before I even started this, that I was going to do redo the weld seams and stuff like that. And I tried and tried and tried with the night shift and reimagined models where you roll the noodles and stuff. I just couldn't get them to work out. Couldn't get them to look right. So I actually spent a few days in Blender and 3D Builder and stuff like that, and I made some that I could 3D print. And they came out pretty good. They look fine. And the only problem that I foresee with them, or did at the time, was when I did them, I did just straight lines. I didn't do any like 90-degree bends or anything like that. And with this thing here, it's got on the top part there with all that armor plate, the little ins and outs, the joints where the two meet. I really should have done that, because I'd have to fill one spot and then get that glued in, cut out another little spot to go, you know, along the edge of it, and then, yeah, so it probably would have been better to do it that way. But now that I have that new method with the thread, that's going to be a lot easier, because I can actually make the 90-degree bends with it. But with that being said, I just wanted to get this fender on, see what it was going to look like. That way there, I had a good idea that was going to work. And go ahead, I'm going to call it a night for tonight, and then that way there, when I come back to it, I can get going again. Well, as you can see, a few more weeks have passed, and I've gotten a little more done to it. The 3D printed weld beads are in, and I'm trying to figure out the suspension, because if you look at it, it's got those little slots in the side there, and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think that those would be facing outwards. I thought they would be hidden toward the inside. And so, you know, I'm trying to put this on, and I'm like, well, hold on, why isn't this working right or looking right, you know? But, you know, finally, it dawned on me that you're not going to see those little slots there, because the road wheels are going to be hiding it, you know? So, yeah. Anyway, that's what I'm doing right now, is I'm trying to figure out which one goes where and stuff like that. And I actually made 2 extra of the suspension arms there, and I finally get it. And so now I'm like, okay, checking everything out, making sure that it all fits right. So now I can actually put the other ones on and then start to get a really good idea of just how big this thing is and how it's going to look. And that I'm actually really super excited for, because yeah, I want this thing. I want it to look huge, I want it to look good. So anyway, yeah, those there are the extras, don't need them. And now I'm going to check to make sure that all the pins are lined up in a line. Okay, cool. But here's where I have one of my biggest brain farts. I decide, before I take this apart and start putting the road wheels on, I'm going to mark one side. That way there, when I go to put it back on, I don't put them on the wrong side. So it's actually not a brain fart, but for me that it is, because I thought of something good. Also, if you haven't noticed, if you remember earlier, I had said something about when I did the Zimmerit, I had cut out little squares instead of circles for the bolt heads and stuff like that. Well, I started noticing that when I was doing the armor texturing on this. I did it on the crew compartment and the front lower plate, and so I decided I'd go ahead and I'd remove some of it to make sure that, well, not to make sure, but to make it look a little damaged and kind of hide the square holes some. And yeah, it worked out pretty good. I can't remember for that front lower plate, I can't remember if there was a Zimmerit for that or not, but I didn't want it on there anyway. And so, yeah. But now I'm figuring out which road wheels go on which pins and stuff like that. And I'm starting to get excited, because I know that it's getting really close to being finished. The road wheels have the poly caps in them, and if you look off to the side there behind the tank, you'll see one of the drive sprockets isn't together. Well, that's because one of my poly caps decided to play hide and seek with me for a few weeks. And so, yeah, I did finally find it and was able to do that. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little upset over that, but hey, it all worked out in the end. So that's all that matters, I guess. Right. So I'm getting really close, and this is where that excitement starts building, because there's not a lot left on this. The little stuff, the clamps and stuff like that, yeah. But for the most part, it's damn near to the almost to the finishing stages, or the wrapping it up before paint and all that, which that was fun. I actually did a really good job, I think, on that. But getting back to this here, yep, I got to see what it looks like. And I really wish that I had individual track links for this. It would have been so much better, I think. I really do, because having this working suspension is really cool. I think that would just, I'm going to get another one. I am. And I'm going to have the working track links on it, or individual track links. That way there the suspension can work and move and all that. Yeah. I just, it's one of them things. So I think it's turning out really good. Well, I know it turned out good, but at this point I think it's turning out really good. I'm not putting the other fender on yet because, like I said earlier, I want to make sure that I can get the suspension on with the tracks and everything before I do that. That way there I'm only stuck with wrestling with one side if needed. So, but as always, guys, thank you for watching my videos. If you like this sort of stuff, please don't be afraid. Drop a like and a comment down below. Even if you want to laugh at me for all my mistakes early on and stuff like that, I'm good with it. Bring it on. Let's go. I absolutely deserve it, so don't worry. I won't get upset. My panties won't be wadded up or nothing like that. I earned it. If you're not already, and I don't know why you wouldn't be, but if you're not, consider subscribing. That helps the channel grow, which we are doing a very good job of. So let's keep that up. We could still hit 500 by the end of the year if you guys just subscribe. It's free. Only thing it costs you is a notification when I post new videos. On top of that, in the description box below, we do have a Discord. So, it's just like subscribing. It's free. Doesn't cost you nothing. Come in, hang out, chit chat. More importantly, post pictures of your builds. Show off your work. We got some badass builders in there right now, and I'm telling you, they're awesome. So it's worth joining just for that. I do post pictures from time to time, builds that I'm working on. So yeah, come on in, hang out with us. Let's bullshit. And until the next video, guys, enjoy the pictures. I will see you later. Bye-bye.